It's the Movie Toasty Show, here for you. Dennis and Adam joke about orgasms and sweet movie reviews. We talk about TV too, right?
I think so.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. Movie Toast.
Woo! Welcome to episode
All right.
200 of Movie Toast News and Reviews. Dennis, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing fantastic. Can you believe it's been 200? Right? Man,
It's surreal, man.
4 years have gone by like in a blink of an eye. I swear.
I wonder how many movies we've reviewed. Like, it's gone anywhere from like 4 reviews an episode to 8 reviews. Oh, man.
That would be a number, actually. Yeah, easily. No, it's we often have like some show on in the background or whatever while Val's working during the day, and there's that episode of The Office that goes by where Andy and Dwight are like fucking trying to flex in front of each other. It's like, well, I've seen over 200 films, and it's like, I was just thinking, it's like we probably covered 200 movies in the first few months.
Yeah.
Of Movie Toast. And like we're got to be so far past a number. Like, yeah, I think you're right. It's got to be 1,000 plus easily.
I would hope so. Yeah.
That's nuts to think about.
Our download numbers probably don't show it, man. We only have a mere 46,337 downloads. I don't know how that counts download streams, whatnot, but at least we got people possibly listening.
We have over 45,000 downloads is what I'm hearing. 46,000.
Over 4 years, though. Come on. I guess that's nice.
Yeah. Why not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although I gotta let some people know here something. We don't claim to be like film experts, aficionados.
No.
I got some crap over on our TikTok page. Which you can follow us and check out daily videos that you don't get here on the show over at movie_toast. I posted a clip of us talking about Daniel Day-Lewis coming out of retirement. And we're kind of talking about not really watching his movies.
Yes.
And someone's like, well, how are you guys experts in film, but you never watched Daniel Day-Lewis? I'm like,
how do you call yourself a film buff? No, look,
yeah.
We're two friends talking about movies. We like to watch movies. We don't claim to be an expert on movies. We both have had jobs within the film industry at various times, but that doesn't mean
it doesn't
mean we think we're like the fucking experts on it. We're not Siskel and Ebert. We just love watching movies and we like to talk about movies. And that's why we're doing the show. That's why we've had the 200 episodes. That's why we have a very fun film festival that we do every December for the last 4 years. It's because we love watching this incredible medium that is unlike any other medium or art form that exists. And it's the combination of so many elements, sound, visual arts, and performance all into one beautiful little package that's up to the interpretation of anyone. So just because something is interesting to one person doesn't mean it's not wildly interesting to the next. And that's why I
am known to love shitty movies.
And I like finding weird old shit.
Yeah. I'm excited, man. The last 3 weeks in my house, nonstop, on my TV, my mother has been watching because, yes, I'm a 36-year-old who lives at home with his mommy. My mother's been watching nonstop Hallmark, Lifetime, Great American Movie Christmas films already happening. I love it. I can't get enough of these things. I know the plots, I know the cast, and I just wish we had a podcast all on that. I mean, I wish we could just cover all those films.
Now, to go along with what you said, I saw on KTLA this morning, there is a whole string of Netflix holiday movies. Are you on?
They have been getting into
you absorb them like in the same way as like it seems like they're kind of going that direction for those style of films. Is that kind of on the same level to you?
They do definitely have that vibe. It's slightly different. Like, honestly, similar style writing, similar style acting, but there's a richness to it that's a little bit better, in my opinion.
So you get,
But they're
you're
pretty much the
getting
same
Lindsay
damn thing.
Lohan Christmas movie. You're getting
Hell yeah.
what's her name from Cheetah Girls? She's
Mhm.
got a Christmas
Cheetah
movie coming
Girl.
out. Yeah, it's like there's a whole lot of them
Everyone.
coming down the line. Chad
There's-
Michael Murray. We worked with that
Ooh.
guy.
We did on our first feature film that we worked on.
Yes, sir.
Caveman. What a
Yeah.
film! Did you come see that with me when it finally came out? I think you know.
I think
maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think-
over at the NoHo 7.
Yeah. We
Okay,
saw,
yeah.
it
I
ended
think
up-
we were
it's
the
like-
only two in the audience.
Right. I think there was one or two other people down in the front row, but like it was pretty empty.
And we're like, oh shit, there's the painting of the dog that we put up. Yeah. Oh, there's that thing that we set up.
The little tiki bar in the back corner. The parachute. Oh man, what a time.
That was good times. Working our ass off
Experience.
for free.
Fuck,
and look,
man.
it sent you off into the art world. So something good came out of it.
If only I got to stay there. But
Couldn't we all say that?
crawl our way back in. That's survive till 25, right, folks? Survive till 25.
That's what they tell you.
That's what we
Anywho.
keep praying to.
Let's we were up in a high note, now we're in a weird low. Let's head over
It's all part of
to
the journey, the drama.
yeah,
On to the next chapter of our story.
or the next chapter of our show, or as we like to call it, news.
Gather round, folks, it's time for the scoop. Tune your ears in, let's join the loop.
Join
All
the loop.
right, up first, the fucking bucket popcorn bucket phase is never gonna end, Dennis.
Oh boy.
And,
I'm glad this is something we get to live to see.
I know we talk about it all the time, but I'm really excited for this one that I also will not buy, like all the other cool things I've never bought, because I don't buy dumb shit. I don't have money to buy dumb shit.
It's
but
funny
I
to
like
watch the
looking at
dumb
it.
shit go by, though, right? Like it's
It
funny just to
definitely
see it
is.
happen. Yeah.
Yeah. So with Gladiator 2, there is a mini Coliseum that you'll get, and there's little spectators, I assumed, printed on the side, but in the middle, there's two gladiators fighting, and there's a QR
Oh.
code that you can scan and watch a virtual fight happen inside your popcorn bucket.
Oh my god. So while I'm eating my popcorn, I might stab my finger on a little fucking gladiator sword or something. That sounds like a great idea. That's
I might be wrong. Maybe there isn't anybody in there.
That would be-
I thought
or
I
is
saw
it-
a picture of it.
maybe it's is it
Oh,
like
it
a
might be a-
figure or is
like
it
a
a
little
printed like
decal,
flat
maybe?
image? Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably more like it.
It'd be
Look
funnier
at
if
me
it was
doing the
like
research.
it'd be funnier if there was like actually like a dude just standing there with a sword at like a spear or something, and you're just like
It's like
stabbing
a
the shit out of
game.
yourself. Yeah.
Will I bleed?
Will I bleed into
Will
my
this be-
popcorn?
An iron flavored popcorn? Maybe. I don't know, but it's
And
like,
then, for those listening, it's the thumbs down. Caesar giving the thumbs down.
yeah.
Execution.
When
end
did
'em.
popcorn buckets become a thing? Like, I'm trying to think back. I know there's always been some, but it's like, when did it hit? When did it become a fad?
Yeah, that's right. With the first novelty one that was like, no, that's a good.
That
point.
started all this shit.
It was before Mario Brothers. I want to say
I want to be shocked.
before Mario Brothers Barbie. That like
I remember they had their things.
they had ones, but it seemed like it was already a thing then. I can't think of what might have been there before.
Yeah. It doesn't matter. Speaking of which, not related to anything that we're supposed to talk about, but I was at a Burger King today. Did you know back in the beginning of the summer, they had these little SpongeBob tiki cups that they were giving away with the kids' meals? I didn't know it.
No.
I saw some and I'm like, those are pretty cool. I wish I knew about this.
Oh
I
dang,
would've bought
yeah,
them.
some SpongeBob
Because they
swag.
just had
especially when
had some behind the register.
Wendy's
and they're
is
from
like
June.
got all the
Yes.
fucking claim to it now. That's funny.
Yeah,
Huh.
Krabby Patty. One extra piece of cheese on a cheeseburger. Krabby Patty,
Whoop-de-doo.
baby.
All right.
Oh, boy.
Nickelodeon.
All right. Sorry, I got grumpy again.
Tent pole.
Something I've been doing a lot of. All right, Dennis. Do you remember back in the day having a nice little Viewmaster?
Of course. Yeah, those are
Yeah,
great.
you
Let's
ready?
look at a view of the Grand Canyon and the Eiffel Tower at the flick
It's
of a
so
switch.
sad how something so banal could be so fun as a child. Like, I don't recall them
great.
being anything fun, but by God, did I
I
love
thought they were
looking
cool.
at them.
My sisters had a cool. It was a projector one, like it was like a flashlight, and you put it in so you can project it on the wall. Mind you, it was like the size of a postcard,
Sure.
but
Yeah.
it's still that was kind of neat. Like I remember
Yeah.
thinking it was cool.
Well, are you ready for a 4-quadrant family adventure film all about the Viewmaster? Sony Pictures hopes you are.
Oh my god,
That's right, man.
good. I'm glad. I've been
jazzed.
waiting for this one. If they can make a movie out of
there's-
fucking Rock'em Sock'em Robots, then I guess they can make a movie out of Viewmaster.
Hey, Real Steel is not Rock'em Sock'em Robots. That movie's coming later eventually, I would only imagine.
Oh, darn. Next,
Yeah.
sorry.
I don't know how that doesn't exist already.
Right? Yeah.
All
that's
right.
true. What the fuck is
Moving
a
on.
Viewmaster movie? Oh. That's
I
it?
don't know.
It's just
Yeah,
the announcement. They don't even know. Oh wow.
Yeah, they haven't said anything besides that, but we could elaborate. We could guess. I don't know. It's like maybe
Traveling
you're going
to different dimensions. It's a magic viewfinder. They look through it and you travel from place to place. We have to
Has to be
find our
that,
son.
It's William H. Macy hiring Jeff Goldblum to find. Oh no, he's lost with the sun. Never mind. Jurassic Park 3. We've been there. We've done that, I guess. But I'd do it again.
We're making our way to 7 or 8 now.
Hell yeah. Whole new journey there. Anywho, sadly, there's been another setback with the MCU's upcoming Blade film. It is now completely off the 2025 schedule. And I don't think that should surprise anybody because there's no movement on this film. But the good news here is taking its place on the big screen will be the new Predator movie, which is called Predator Badlands. And it's a follow-up to Prey. Same director. So it's nice to get on the big screen again. I'm excited.
I'll say I'm a little bummed. Like I was looking forward to Blade coming back into the forefront, and he's a badass character in the Marvel universe. But to get swapped out by the next Predator movie and made by that guy, like that Prey was so fucking cool. I am ready for some more of that action. Bring on the Xenoverse or whatever we want to call that crossover world. I'm down for that.
Fuck yes. And I'm just happy that it's not coming out on Hulu, which no knock to Hulu, but it's
sure.
It would have been so visually pleasing to see on the big screen.
Yes. Yeah, that would have been sick.
But at the time, I don't think many people wanted to risk their lives like me because they have an addiction to watching movies on the big screen. So Hulu made sense, I suppose.
Sensible. Yeah. But now it's like Predator back on the big screen. Fuck yeah. I'm buying that ticket for sure.
I'll buy that for $1. No, it doesn't matter. All
Robocop.
right, up next, not really a movie, but it was a movie at one point. Carrie is getting revised, a remake, but this time it's going to be an 8-episode streaming series over on Amazon Prime, brought to you by the modern horror master Mike Flanagan. I don't know, not a big fan of this guy and his work, but he does get horror, so it could be good.
Okay. And Carrie is one that it kind of makes sense. It needs those steps that build up before the final. Like it seems like a
really get
choice.
To see all of it. Yeah, why not? Opposed to just an hour and a half, 2-hour film. Let's really
see her crush down into like the that final. I'm going to burn you all down. The final climax we are expecting at the end. That's all right. I'd give it a shot.
Right. All right, and then speaking of reboots, it's finally been announced, because nobody was waiting for it, but it has been announced that there is going to be a new American Psycho movie. Yes, because that's what we need. And it's going to be directed by Luca Guadagnino. I'm saying his name wrong, but the guy that just brought us recently the very sexy tennis movie, Challengers. So, I think
interesting.
His aesthetic could lean well into this.
It makes sense, yeah, especially just for the tone. I mean, given based on the film, I'm familiar with. I'm not, wouldn't be familiar with any written works or anything related to this, but I that could make sense to me. Interesting. I did see a cool a post on Reddit earlier today that was the 4K re-release of American Psycho. Do you see what the box looks like? It's a blood
No.
pack. So it's one of
Ooh.
those like you can squeeze the case and the blood moves around.
Oh,
It's got a membrane, so it's full of
that's kind of
the
cool.
liquid. Yeah, I'm like, that's instead of the classic blood splatter down Christian Bale's face, you get to be the one that splatters the blood. So it's like that's fun. That's a nice touch.
That's fulfilling.
And I miss
That's gonna get people to buy physical media.
Yes, I miss when they used to engage you like that. I miss when movies had those things that came along with it. It was
I miss going to a store and buying DVDs and Blu-rays. Like now there's none. Or it's like, here's the latest Marvel movie, here's the latest DreamWorks movie. That's all we're offering. And it's like, fuck you. I want to discover something new, something old, just something I haven't seen before, or something I've been looking for so long. I want that.
Fuck yeah. I missed I like when I was growing up, I would have to ride the bus over to where my sister's school was and wait for them to like get out of school. And I'd always kill time by walking into the mall, going to Suncoast, and just flipping through every DVD, whether I knew it or not. I would just be reading I'd be reading the synopsis on the back of the box. I'd be looking at all the artwork. I'd be looking at every possible thing I could.
I could spend hours doing all that, man.
I missed that shit. That was the coolest. And this is what I think I think if we can somehow find a way to come back to that tone, and even it'll never be the same, but the experience.
And even back before the internet was a big thing, and you're just looking at the box cover art and you're deciding what the movie is about, not knowing anything, just going in blind.
Right.
Oh, what a day.
Glory days.
What a life. Yeah. God, we sound like old men. Kids like, stream it, asshole.
Yeah.
They're not wrong. And yet you remember when VOD became a thing and you were just so excited because you could watch whatever you want that's available or was currently on TV. You just watch Lord of the G Strings or whatever. I don't know. You could just have a fun time seeing what's on demand. It's good stuff. All right. And then to close us out here, a couple of weeks ago, it was announced that Matt Damon was joining Christopher Nolan's upcoming movie. And now it sounds like Tom Holland might be joining. And I'm kind of intrigued. Rumor has it it's going to be a period piece movie set in 1920s. And it's going to be a vampire movie, supposedly.
Hey, man, with all of these pieces put together, I mean, it could be a fucking ballet movie, and I am here for it. That's like, I don't...
Right?
Whatever it is, whatever, insert biopic about knitting. I don't know. Insert thing that you might find boring, but put all these pieces together. I'm going to go pay money to watch this.
It's quite the puzzle. Hell yeah.
Let's do it.
Fuck yeah. So hopefully we'll get more information on that soon, and probably a slew of other fantastic actors joining that franchise film.
You know it.
What am I talking about?
All right, when Dennis calls, you're answering that phone call.
Yeah, the guy who can make the atomic bomb story fun.
Right? Yeah.
Nobody's saying no to him.
I think it's about time for some poll action.
I think so, buddy.
Let's do it.
Woo! All right, man. Up first on episode 199, I reviewed the latest Florence Pugh movie, We Live in Time. So I wanted to know what the Toastie's favorite Florence Pugh movie was out of A Good Person. Also, I don't know why the graphics not coming up because I'm hitting the wrong thing. Apologies for those of you listening. I had a technical difficulty here. So I wanted to know what their favorite Florence Pugh film was out of A Good Person, Don't Worry, Darling, Fighting with My Family, and Little Women.
Wow.
Have you seen any of these films?
Oh my God. I was about to say, it wasn't, what, Hawkeye, I think is the last thing I saw. Oh, Jesus Christ. I guess I'm
it's so
not
crazy
a movie
to think. I'm not gonna lie, Dennis. I've seen all 4 of these films on the big screen.
I don't doubt it. Now I've only seen like the previous version of Little Women too many times. But yeah.
Well, you haven't seen Greta's version.
No.
She can make Barbie
Try to get
fun.
right-
She made Little Women fun.
This is true. This is true. I would never doubt.
You got Saul Goodman
Miss-
as
Miss
their
Gerwig's.
father.
Really? Oh,
Yeah.
Cool. Oh, dang.
Good times.
You know what? I'll never get
We're
Val to
still
watch
not
it,
going to
though.
watch
She,
it.
I actually would sit through it, but she can't stand that shit. So I would have to carve
get
out
it.
my own time for it. And
And it's a lengthy film, I believe, if I
Oh, yeah?
recall correctly. Yeah. But
Okay.
for me personally, it's a toughie because I really enjoyed A Good Person and I really enjoyed Fighting with My Family.
I
But
remember
I
you
think I'm
mentioned
going to
those.
go Fighting with My Family.
All
Let's
right.
see what the Toasties thoughts.
What'd they say?
0% for Don't Worry, Darling.
Yeah,
It was a
that
good
sounded
movie,
like that
but
was the case.
too much turmoil.
Yeah.
Up next, 0% for Little Woman. What?
Oh,
What a bunch of
too little.
haters. Too
Not little enough. They're
yeah, not enough. They're not,
not little
Ant-Man
enough.
size.
They're not
Oh,
microscopic ladies.
5% for A Good Person. If any of you
Oh.
have not seen this film, it's fantastic. I reviewed it a couple of about 50 episodes ago, if I had to guess. It's great. Morgan Freeman and her have this really. I'm not going to get into it. Just check it out. It's great. I think it's over on Amazon Prime. And that leaves 95% for Fighting with My Family, a movie
Yes.
I put on there expecting no one to vote for. And this
Man.
was the poll that got the most traction out of all our polls. And honestly, I didn't even know it was Florence Pugh until I pulled up her IMDb.
I forgot
Because
that's
she's so
she's
young
in
and she
it.
looks different. And
And it's
it
got
has
a
a
crazy
fantastic-
cast. It's
Yes!
got a crazy cast.
Nick Frost plays her father. I think is that what's her face from Game of Thrones playing her mother. I think.
I think
Cersei?
so. Yeah.
I forget who the
This
brother
is
is.
loosely
But...
based on a real family, right?
Oh
Or it's based on a
yeah,
true
real
story?
life wrestler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Vince Vaughn is training her how to wrestle, and of course, Dwayne the Rock Johnson is the guy who produced it, so he's in it too.
He can smell, or you can smell what he's cooking in this one. It's
You might not want to, but you're
You might-
gonna. And then also on last week's episode, Dennis, there was a movie reviewed that had, I think, a robot in it.
I think there was
And
one robot.
I'm drawing a
right?
blank on what that movie was.
Wild robot is what if I had
The
if I had to
Wild
draw-
Robot was that movie, Dennis. Thank
if I
you
had to
very much
make a
for remembering.
wild guess.
Normally, I'm the one who's like, you don't remember what happened 2 weeks ago, you dipshit? And you're like, hey, you reviewed a movie called The Wild Fucking Robot. Easy one to remember. I'm still promoting it.
We were
on all
only
our
offered
socials.
T-shirts at Comic-Con.
Yes, we were offered, but my fat ass was too fat to fit into one of them, so I was offended. And
I had to
stormed
give mine to
away.
Val, so I
Well, it was a delightful movie. If you
Yes.
haven't seen it yet, check it out. If you want to be convinced, go back and listen to episode 199 and hear me gush all about it. But it made me wonder what the Toasties' favorite movie involving a robot was out of the Iron Giant, Robots, Wall-E, and Big Hero 6. Any of these
I
spark
will
any
fess
interest
up
in you?
to I didn't see Big Hero 6, but I fucking love Iron Giant. And it's one of those that, like, between the art, the performances, and the story itself, stands the test of time. It's still fantastic. I hope Iron Giant, if not is not at the top of the list, is at least second. I will be
Fair enough.
Wally's good too. Don't get me
Wall-E's good time.
wrong. Some Wally. Robots.
No love for Robin Williams. I
Sorry,
remember
Rob.
seeing Robots at the Drive-In.
Robbie
Boy,
Dub.
was that a film. Boy. But dude, you got to see Big Hero 6. It is a fantastic film, let alone it's a Marvel movie technically because it's based on a
it's
Marvel
folded
film.
into yeah. That's very
But
true.
let's find out what the Toasties think. 10% for my favorite Big
Wow.
Hero 6.
That's the one
Yeah.
I feel like I hear about the most. Reference
Right?
the most. I'm
Mhm.
okay. All right.
Even spun off into a couple of TV series, I think.
Showing your true
hey.
colors, Toasties.
Fuck
It's
yeah.
not what I was
Hey,
expecting.
we're asking, they're telling.
That's right.
20% for robots. In what world does robots beat Big Hero 6? Only in
Robbie
our
Dubs.
world, Dennis.
Robbie Dubs, man. That's why.
I think who else? Amanda Bynes, I think, is the lady robot.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
Ewan McGregor is like
Well,
the
Obi-Wan
main robot.
Kenobi's gonna be like,
And I
worth
think this
some
was right
weight.
in the throes of the prequel series, so I think he was hot at that time.
Makes sense.
All right, yeah. 30% for your favorite choice, and I agree with you. Iron Giant, fantastic film.
Yes.
One of our early fucking Vin Diesel films, almost doing as
Right.
much work as saying "I am Groot"
Right.
and whatever
That's
little
true.
dialogue he had in this. And that leaves
Oh, man.
40% for Wally.
Fair enough.
That little
Okay.
guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
If anything was gonna beat Iron Giant, at least
Right.
it was Wally. So he's one of my favorite characters in the what's that Disney City Builder game? I will now confess to owning.
Sarah plays that like daily. Dreamlight.
Yes. Dreamlight Valley.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm almost thinking about like restarting it because I don't like how I forced my arrangement of my village. Anyways.
I don't know.
Yeah. I like those silly things.
Hey, why not?
Disney
It's
cuteness.
a thing. People enjoy them.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, speaking of games. Oh, no. I'll save that for later. All right, man. Let's get to the throws. The real reason the folks are listening and watching this. A little thing I like to call reviews.
Ice camera action, it's review time. Dennis and Adam, we gon' blow your mind. We're stepping up to the plate, ready to swing. Analyzing movies like a scientist with brain.
All right, Dennis, I think
bling.
You are our first scientist with bling today, I believe, sir.
Yes, sir. All right. So getting into the festive mood here, Mrs. and I were looking for something we recall from our childhood, but neither of us had actually seen all the way through. This is the 1992 Robert Zemeckis film, Death Becomes Her. So this has got an incredible cast right out the gate. Meryl Streep and Goldie Hawn play two quote-unquote friends. Goldie Hawn is a novelist, and Meryl Streep is she's an actress who's on both screen and stage. And the movie opens up to this horrible musical that Meryl Streep is starring in. But Goldie Hawn has taken her fiance, Bruce Willis, to go see the show. And it turns out he's a huge fan of her. Madeline and Helen is sitting there. She's like, how do I put this diplomatically? Goldie Hawn's character is made to not look as pretty as Meryl Streep's character is. And it's clear they've come up together. They're aware of each other, but in like the very catty sort of way that they're very competitive and they pretend to be friends to each other's faces, but only so they could one up one another.
Typical.
So we're seeing that we jump ahead in these 6 or 7 year leaps in time where we see Goldie Hawn has just been utterly crushed by her depression. She's lost her fiance to Meryl Streep.
Damn.
Bruce Willis's obsession with her was just too overcoming, and they get married.
That's what happens when you go to the stage plays. That's why you got to go to the movies.
Don't get invited. Don't go backstage and go see her in person. Like that's what killed it.
That's why I don't go. I don't want to end up with fucking any of these lovely ladies.
Right. Well, after
don't
Helen,
chuckle. Don't laugh at me like I don't stand a chance with either of these ladies.
I'm not saying you don't. You never know.
In my
you didn't get to talk to him. You didn't get. There could be sparks.
Yeah.
You know, say you wouldn't appreciate attention from Meryl Streep or Goldie Hawn right now, because I certainly would.
I don't know who wouldn't.
I would blush if that was the case for me. Helen, Goldie Hawn's character, has finally been. Oh no, you're good. I love that because that's totally true. I'm with you. Helen, Goldie Hawn's character, has just had crushing depression, and in a moment of therapy in the asylum that she's in, she has this like moment of clarity of like, oh my god, I can see it. I know what my plan is. And the rest of the film is now this attempt at just destroying her, and if essentially she wants to kill Madeline, Meryl Streep's character. Now, over the course of the journey, Madeline her looks have faded, and she thinks she's getting washed away with all the younger talent coming up, and her husband went from being the topmost plastic surgeon to being a mortician, and he's just constantly
as it
boozing,
happens.
and there's just no love in the relationship anymore. And she's looking for some way to restore the vigor she used to have, and she comes across this person who's willing to give her back what she once had. Isabella Rossellini shows up in this insane mansion she goes and visits her in, that has just all this incredible set design, where she offers her this potion that will give her the youthful look that she desires for exactly 10 years. She can stay in the limelight and maintain her image, but after that she needs to disappear because people will become too suspicious. Then you need to just go away. You can't let anyone know. This potion needs to remain a secret. Turns out this has been like the hidden secret in Hollywood all this time, because there's little cameos with you get appearances of like Elvis Presley. You get Andy Warhol at one point, Marilyn Monroe, and I can't. Oh my god, I can't think of his name.
Such a big star.
A bunch of but well, he was only in like 4 movies, so
I'm just kidding. Wait, are those actual people in this?
No, they're not really, but they're meant to look.
Okay, like I was gonna say, I'm like, Marilyn Monroe was alive.
They all abided by the rules, and after the period of time, they after they took the potion, they disappeared or faked their own deaths in order to maintain the illusion.
So you're saying Tupac is really just
that would be awesome, like like Tupac's like at this party too. So all of this kind of like they've realized they've both taken the potion, and Ernest, the man caught in the middle, is just like, I don't live for fixing you up, making you both look pretty. This sounds like hell. This is not the life I want to live, and removes himself from the situation. And funny enough, that kind of is the whole movie right there. And by the time you get everything set up and the dominoes start to fall, the movie ends. So I gotta say, the performances are fantastic. All 3 of them are wonderful, hilarious, as you'd expect from those 3. It's funny in that regard, that I like kind of seeing, especially Bruce Willis. This is not a character we see him performing in very often at all, and it's so refreshing to kind of be reminded he doesn't need to be the action hero. He doesn't need to be just like straight up drama. This is a very comedic character who's going through some dark shit, and the combination of the 3 of them is just wonderful. These sets are awesome. And it's a lot of mansions, and it's a lot of big Hollywood, old Hollywood sort of feel. A lot of Art Deco with these infusions of like the early 90s modern style. These little injections of like Egyptian themes in the right moments where that comes up. Every location looks amazing. The costumes, all the wardrobe looks fantastic. My only problem is the story kind of sucks. Like by the time it kind of just like, and then it's over. We get to the end, and I was waiting for like one more step, and I'm like, oh, well, I guess that is it. So I guess it's done now. But I don't regret watching it one bit. It's very fun. Let's put it that way. This clearly had a very nice budget. It has a lot of those little Robert Zemeckis touches, but also a lot of things we're not used to seeing him do. I wasn't. Funny enough, it kind of reminded me of Heartbreakers, which comes out several years after this one, where it's like, it's kind of sexy with watching these 2 very attractive women kind of one up each other constantly, especially when they find the attention of the same man, even though it's not quite the case for Heartbreakers. But for this one, it just had a lot of those elements where it's like these 2 women still have a lot to offer in that regard. And it was fun to watch. It was the dialogue is delivered wonderfully. They're delivered.
Wait. Are you now giving a review of Heartbreakers inside your review of Death Becomes Her?
I'm talking about Death Becomes Her.
Okay, I'm like, wait, what? Well, this is Inception.
No. There was pieces were reminding me of it. It's all I was referencing.
Fair enough.
No, their delivery, Meryl Streep, Goldie Hawn, Bruce Willis, their delivery of their lines, their characters, fantastic. I just wish they were given a little more. The plot was a little deeper. It doesn't quite. Isabella Rossellini, the filming of her characters is fantastic. They make her very sexy, but it's also like this mystical sort of element where you're just wondering where it all comes from. And I like this kind of, that mystery never really gets answered, and I'm very okay with that, because it needs to be that elusive, like magical potion element that is what carries us. It's not about her, it's about them, right? So the only issue is you have all this build up to it, just the movie's stopping. And it felt kind of like the rug got pulled out from under me in the last act, but still think it was a fun watch. I'm glad we went out of our way to see it. It is available on Peacock. Death Becomes Her. I'm going to give 2.5 slices. I think it might be a little harsh. It's not a 3 because I really wanted more by the time the movie was over. It needed like another movement. There needed to be another arc there. To really finish it off, but it was still a fun watch. I think it's a lighter film in the Halloween season lineup that I think you should add to the queue.
Nice. Not bad. My next film is not a horror film, but I do have some coming up. I have the latest Jason Reitman film. It's sort of not a biopic, but in a way, it feels like a biopic.
Oh, dude, I'm so excited for
I
this.
have Saturday Night. All right, if you don't know what this is about, you've been under a rock, folks, because this is all about the 90 minutes leading up to the very first episode of Saturday Night Live. And by God, this movie is just a fucking thrill ride. There's ups and downs, and it's like they didn't even know if the show was going to be on the air up until 10:05. Even 1 second before they went live, they were ready to cut to some rerun of fucking The Tonight Show with Johnny Carson. And all right, so basically it's Lorne Michaels going throughout Studio 8H, trying to get everything running, dealing with these actors who are all over the place. They have all these sketches, too many schedules. Their dress rehearsal went over by 3 hours. There's so much not ready. The sets aren't even fully built. Some of the actors aren't sure what they're doing there. And it's just chaos and unnerving. It's almost real time for the most part. And it's just like, what the fuck? It's so intense. And it has a stellar cast. The boy who plays Lorne Michaels is the same boy who played young Steven Spielberg, or the Spielberg-esque character in The Fabelmans, Gabriel LaBelle. His kind of second in command, kind of the person behind the person running the show, is Rosie Schuster. Didn't know much about her, but it's played by Rachel Sennett. Fantastic. Then you have people in here like Lamorne Morris, J.K. Simmons, fucking Willem Dafoe, Dylan O'Brien, Nicholas Braun, all these folks, and a bunch of performers I've never seen before, but they're playing your classic SNL characters. Some of them have the look, some of them have the vibe, some of them have the dialogue. They all fit in this perfect box together. My only issue with this is you never have enough time to fully get to know your characters, because there's like literally like 90 characters sprawled throughout this whole area, it feels like. But somehow, some way, they found a way to have each main person have a moment, just this fantastic line of dialogue, a monologue of sorts, some stellar coming to terms moment. Everyone kind of gets their moment. And J.K. Simmons plays Milton Berle, and at one point he's flirting with Chevy Chase's date. Chevy Chase is so fucking full of himself and just the cock of the walk. And then when he finds Milton Berle talking to his girl, the two of them go head to head, and it ends up with Milton Berle whipping his cock out, and just the awe. Chevy Chase doesn't know what to say at this point. And it's like, yeah, in your fucking place, man. You're seeing Jim awesome. Henson. Oh, yeah. And just his look and his charisma. J.K. Simmons was a scene stealer, and he has other fantastic moments in here. Another standout for me is Philip Seymour Hoffman's son, Cooper Hoffman. He's kind of like also a guy who's kind of keeping Lauren in track. He's kind of like the whipping boy for everybody, but he has this fantastic moment where he essentially puts Lauren in his place and like really gets him on board, and kind of gives him, I don't want to spoil, but a fantastic scene stealer from him. Jim Henson is kind of losing his shit because nobody's respecting him or the Muppets.
Right.
They've been writing inappropriate things for the Muppets.
Yeah.
Dan Aykroyd's having a blast. Garrett Morris is just like not sure why he's there. He really is thinking he's there just to fill the role of that token black actor on the show. Gilda Radner's just kind of having a nice time. Everyone's just eating it up. Everyone's giving a fantastic performance. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of was like irritated by this movie because, like I said, you're just going everything. It's nonstop. Something's always happening.
You want more from all of them, like.
You do, yeah. But there's a moment where the score is like almost louder than the audio. It's like getting in your head. You're like, oh, you're almost feeling the pressure that Lauren's feeling because it's
shit,
holy
okay,
shit, yeah, and it's nerve-wracking.
That's badass. That's awesome.
But and you know what's gonna happen. You know they go on to put on a great show, and it goes on for 50 years. But getting there is like a ride that you just didn't know anything about. And sure, some of this stuff didn't actually happen the way it happened. Some of the things were compiled from the first season. What happened, Jason Reitman and his co-writer, they kind of went and interviewed almost everyone who worked on the show or who was on anybody associated with that first episode. They interviewed and took all the stories, and everyone had opposing stories from their points of views. Mm-hmm. And it's just, you can tell this was made by someone who loves Saturday Night Live. And it was shot on film, it looks like, and it's sexy looking. And it's just, oh my God, it's a fantastic movie. And it's almost just an hour and a half. It's a little over an hour and a half, so it's not completely real time, but you'll buy it. And like, there's a ticker that comes up on screen giving you the time. There's a character coming in, being like 30 minutes till showtime. And like, oh God, I love this movie. It's great. It's fantastic. I think if you're a fan of SNL, you should check it out. And it made me want to go back and rewatch the first episode. I remember when I watched the first episode a while ago, I'm like, oh, this is so boring. It's not the same. But it's like now knowing all the stuff that went behind the scenes to lead to that, to them become what it became. It's like, yeah. That makes
first season has so many wonderful moments too. Like I love that. Yeah. The original Not Ready for Primetime Players just sets the tone for everything that was to come afterwards. And like to this day, I that's why I love every one of those cast members, and I still think they're the funniest that the show ever had.
Fantastic, yeah. And that's the thing, like you see how they didn't even know, like literally people are like, Lauren, what is this show?
Well, yeah, what's it gonna be?
I know what it is.
That's so
but he didn't even know. He couldn't explain it. He's like, it'll be what it's gonna be, and people are mad that it's not this or that, and he's like, just let it happen. And like he even was questioning it himself. And like they had all these different comedians, like Billy Crystal was there to do like some stand-up, another comedian, and they had to get their times cut. There was 3 different musicians, and it was just a shit show that somehow became a miracle. And the beautiful thing about this is they could do this multiple more times with different cast members. They could do it when Lorne Michaels leaves and comes back, and all the different iterations of the cast. And I would love to see them go through the different years and the different genres.
Oh, yeah. Because they struggled so many times. Like there was times where the show was tanking and they were trying to bring it back out. No, that's a good point. I would totally you go to like the Eddie Murphy years and stuff. You come back into the early 90s when it really started to hit that high stride again. Now fuck yeah, I'd watch. I haven't seen this yet, but I'm already like, yeah, I'd watch some more. That's awesome.
I think you'll enjoy it for sure.
Oh my God, that's awesome. Oh dude, and, I was already pumped for this one, but I love that you loved it too. Or
like I said, I was on the edge of my seat the whole time. In the beginning, the first 15, 20 minutes, I'm like, fuck this movie. This is not what I expect. I thought it was going to be a laugh riot, but it was more of a drama almost. And I loved it. Awesome. It was great. But like I said, just the tension, I had to just come to terms with what it was. I'm like, this is great. And the performances are stellar. Like I said, you have some great named actors in there. And then you have some unknowns, and everyone's killing it. And I'm going to give Saturday Night, I give 3 slices of toast.
Badass, dude. That's
Yeah.
fucking awesome.
Sorry,
I'm
I
pumped
went on
for
a
that.
giant tirade and
No, that's what
not
that
as tight as
you're
my normal reviews.
as passionate as coverage that is. That's exactly what I was hoping to hear about something like this. It's like, because that's what a movie like this should do, I think, because it's not like it's unknown. There's been books written about this era. There've been a lot of stories and biopics and stuff about the individual cast members, but to be presented to us in this manner, I was very much looking forward to the story, and I'm glad that it was sounds like a great time, man. That's
for
awesome.
sure. And there's like so many Easter eggs hidden throughout it. And the craziest part is listening to like podcasts with Jason Reitman and some of the people.
Oh,
They
yeah.
literally finished filming this movie a couple of months ago, and like the turnaround is just insane.
Shit.
How
That's
quick
fast.
it's come out. Yeah. But I don't know. I think it's worth checking out. But I think you got a movie that I haven't seen since it came out, and I'm excited to get your take on it, man.
Adam, you ignorant slut. I'm about to talk about. We need to talk about Kevin.
Okay, which Kevin are we talking about? I literally have two friends named Kevin, so I mean, I'm guessing here, man.
The other Kevin.
Okay.
You know,
Fair enough.
that Kevin.
Kevin from The Office, my favorite character.
Oh,
Sorry.
yeah. I'm like, Kevin. Wait a minute. Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. I'm going to forget about Kevin. It's his chili.
Never
That's
forget.
what I remember. This is a flick that came back in 2011. If you hadn't heard of it, but chances are I'm sure many of you have. Directed by Lynn Ramsey. This is quite the thriller, a drama thriller that I think kind of fits into the spooky season as far as like what terrifying shit could possibly happen to yourself or people you know. This is telling the story of Tilda Swinton's character Eva, who I believe she was a travel photographer. She made this career out of just witnessing like incredible moments around the world, trying to capture them in photographs. And after spending a night in New York with John C. Reilly's character, they have a fling that evolves into a love affair that they ended up having a child together, getting married. And it seems to just kind of stop her life very suddenly. And you're seeing the kind of ripple effects. And the film is jumping between timelines of going back to the past, the build up to where we are, all the way through where she is now. And you're starting to kind of bridge these memories and the current timeline together to find out that Kevin did something. Kevin, something happened with Kevin.
Something horrendous.
This movie was so tense, and I loved. This is the kind of uncomfortable, skin crawly, psychological thriller that I just fucking love to watch. Where when I just kind of start to feel disturbed watching it, but I can't stop it. I can't look away. Tilda Swinton just absolutely crushes this role. She was so good at playing, like, you see her struggle with so many things, not only just trying to be the mother that she may not even necessarily want to be, but to continue to follow the passion. You still have this nagging, like, she's destined to do these certain things, and she tries to reach out and be as close to them as she can again in various capacities, but knowing she'll never quite experience it the same. Struggling with raising a son who's clearly just belligerent, like truly struggles with maintaining this like level of sanity you would expect with raising a child at first. And I like that at first it's kind of trying to show you like, maybe she's just having a hard time. She just is not taking to the mother thing very quickly. He's a little rambunctious, but as time goes on, it's really evident he's truly different than many other children around him. They have another child, and that it's even more clear because she's a beautiful. They have a beautiful daughter. Doesn't start like fire, so to speak, the way Kevin does, and it's you just more and more evidence of horrific things, of him going out of his way to just cause terror within the home. Then it builds up to this incredible climax that is just absolutely heartbreaking. It is gut-wrenching. You see it coming, but the way it plays out is just so horrific. but the journey there is just fascinating. And again, the cast does such an incredible job. Even like as I watched it with my wife, and she was where I was trying to remember, like I was trying to spit out the names of the stars of the movie, and she said Ezra Miller first. I'm like, no. Yes, he's in the movie, but like he's really only in the last third of the film. This is Tilda Swinton's movie with John C. Reilly supporting her. Tilda Swinton carries this movie so fucking well. I think this is probably my favorite role of hers now. That was just so, and it's just crushing at the same time. It's one of these, it's one of those kinds of movies. It almost makes you feel bad to say you enjoy it because it's just so brutal in that.
Yeah, it makes you feel dirty after watching it. And you're like, did I like that? Should I like that? That's fucking, it was horrendous.
Oh my God.
My God.
But it's just so fucking good at doing that. And I'm glad I finally watched it. But it's one of those, I needed a mood lightener afterwards. Let's throw on a couple episodes of Friends or something just to try to bounce back out of it and get the those endorphins going back again, to make sure you got some positivity happening before you go to bed. Man, it was incredible. No, we need to talk about Kevin. I'm gonna give 3.5 slices. It was so brutal and intense, but just riveting every step of the way. Like the wand maker in Harry Potter. He did horrible things, but they were great, right? Like it's holy shit. Yeah.
Nice.
If you hadn't seen it, I don't want to spoil everything about it, but goddamn, is that a journey to go on?
I'm happy you enjoyed it, man, because that's a movie that I could see people walking away being like, oh, fuck, that's terrible. What sick asshole came up with that? But it's like, no, it's sadly, that's where we're at in America.
It is. And it's a solid reminder of what this is why we need to be paying attention to those things and be present for those people who need that sort of attention. It's not something to be brushed off. Yeah.
I don't know why, like, you said, what, 2011? So I haven't seen this movie in 13 years. The one scene that sticks out in my head the most, isn't she at one of those celebrations where there's dry paint or whatever thrown at you, like, or something? Like,
I think you're thinking the opening scene. It's the festival in Spain where they have big tomato fights. It's tomatoes. So it looks like
that was a mess.
Yeah. It's almost like blood, but it's it's celebration of the tomato harvest
ingrained in my head.
Yeah. Beautiful sequence too.
Well,
it was shot amazingly.
I have another biopic movie. This one actually you could call a biopic.
Huge.
The Apprentice. This, of course, is the Sebastian Stan film where he plays Donald Trump. And this kind of picks up before he is who he is. He is just the son of a kind of slumlord, a guy who owns some inner city buildings. His dad's kind of being sued because he has unfair standards of who can live in his buildings. And of course, Donald has to go door to door to collect money from these people who really can't afford to live where they're living. And he ends up meeting Roy Cohen, the lawyer who essentially, if you deal with him, he deals with some pretty sticky situations, and he kind of has people in his back pocket. He's not afraid to tell people to fuck off. He just tells people like it is. And Donald and him kind of start hanging out, and they work together, and you can kind of see Donald slowly morphing into kind of a junior version of Roy. This kind of plays off like a Dr. Frankenstein type of thing. Like, he essentially becomes Frankenstein's monster. It feels like he becomes even more despisable than Roy. And you kind of see his main thing in the beginning. He wants to open Trump Tower. It's going to be the biggest. It's going to be the best. It's going to have this. It's going to have that. But he doesn't have the money. The city doesn't want to give him zoning permits. He doesn't want to pay. And it's just all about him doing that. Then it grows from there. It gets higher and higher. You're just watching him become more and more corrupt. You're watching him be this very despisable person. You're kind of seeing the makings of the man that we're dealing with now, whether you like him or hate him. The mannerisms are there. And sure, Sebastian Stan doesn't fully look like him, but he does in a way. He doesn't try doing the voice. He doesn't try to do this characteristic, this cartoon version. He just
it's not a caricature. It's not a caricature.
Yes.
It's yeah.
But the tics, the way he holds himself, the way he moves, the way he talks, everything about it is just like, holy shit, that is like spot on. And it's creepy, man. And there's some scenes in here that you're like, holy shit, that's like spoiler alert, and kind of, I do apologize. It's a trigger warning, but he rapes his wife in one moment, and it is like you're just watching and you're like, oh, what the fuck, man?
Jesus.
And it stays on it for a while, and yeah, it's rough. But the cool thing about this is the visuals of it. Like the beginning of the movie is like one time period. It's about, I want to say, like the 80s, and it looks like it's shot on film, which I think it might be shot on film. And then after that, it is like shot on like a VHS type of tape. It has that home video,
yeah, digital tape,
look to
videotape.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
And,
badass.
yeah. So you're going from these different formats as the years go on, and the music is pretty good in this. And just Jeremy Strong plays Roy Cohen, and he is fantastic as this character.
Oh, dude, I love that guy. Both of them, really.
Yeah.
I gotta say, Sebastian Stan, that guy, when he wants to become someone, he fucking becomes them, and that's
he does that to the umpteenth degree in this. And then as Ivana Trump, you have Maria Bakalova. I tend to always think of her as Borat's daughter, and she's really great in this too. A little bit hard to understand what she's saying in some scenes because she has a really thick accent as Ivana, but I get, we're going for realism here.
Sure.
And it's kind of weird because at some points you kind of feel bad for Donald, and other points like, oh, fuck this guy. And like even the way he treats his family later on, and they do kind of show you he was treated like shit. He was kind of like the ugly duckling of his family. His dad never believed in him and kind of treated him like shit and laughed at him. And
it's like that repetition of learned behavior, right?
Mm-hmm. And this is him showing that he is someone, and it's like he's just this terrible monster at the end. And there's even jokes in here about, oh, you should run for office and this and that. And at one point they were talking about Make America Great Again, and when I forget who was running for office back then, and he was like kind of laughing at it. And it's like there's a lot of these like subtle nudges at like, oh,
Nixon,
shit, that
I think
becomes a thing later on. Yeah. Oh man, this movie I thought I was gonna hate, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. I saw this, and then I saw Saturday Night after it. I surprisingly liked this even more than I liked Saturday Night. It's crazy. Yeah.
Okay.
It's definitely a journey, man. It's 2 hours, but it's quite the saga that you're seeing here. I'm gonna give The Apprentice 3 slices of the toast.
Shit, dude.
Yeah,
man. Yeah, that's what I want to see it for much the same reason you just described. I want to watch the monster get made, and Sebastian Stan just fucking kills it. Like I loved Pam and Tommy, and the way he became the title character of that show. It was so, like you could tell he just really sunk himself into who the man is. So I can't imagine he shorted himself whatsoever when making this happen. And I'm glad that fucker couldn't stop this from getting released. So
that's the best part. They literally, I think, crowdfunded the money to get this to play in theaters, and it's fantastic.
Hell yeah, good on you guys. Nice. Yeah, nice. Well, cool, man.
So you have a movie that we were just talking about a couple of episodes ago, I believe. I'm
That's
excited to
true.
hear your take on it.
So from here on out, my reviews are actually for your consideration screenings we got to attend. And this particular one, Val and I got to go to the DGA and see this one with that was followed up by a Q&A with Kevin Costner, as well as several of his heads of department, talking about Horizon, an American Saga, Chapter 1.
Ooh.
So this is I want to say a classic American tale. We were starting off in the American West. Oh man, where does it start? Because we do a few time jumps. 1859. No. That's where the movie ends. Is 1859. This is the 1820s. I want to say. Either way, so we start establishing there is a location in the far west where all these flyers have been printed. People are land surveyors are plotting out lots for future settlers to come and claim these lots. Turns out the land that they're trying to claim is actually a water resource for the local native tribes. This is where several different tribes actually come and collect their water, and this is kind of like even ground where they're not going to fuck with each other. But now all these people start showing up, living right on top of it and trying to push them out. Within the first 15-20 minutes, we see a intense, horrific raid scene that's about 15 minutes long itself, of all of these initial settlers just getting ravaged by this local, not even the whole tribe, it's specific members of this tribe who very much want to push all of these people away, the white eyes, as they keep referring to them. And it immediately sets up this tension between these groups. And it's not, and I know a lot of people might want to immediately say this is like an anti-native film, and it's not. It literally spends the rest of the movie just forcing you to look at the reality of the situation from every side, from every angle. We're jumping between 4 different territories in the American West, between Southern California to Montana to, at one point, Utah, and we're jumping between all of these places, Central California as well. We're jumping between all these places to assemble the stories of all of these different settlers. You've got the surviving mother and daughter of the family who were at the Horizon Settlement, which is the name of the place where they're trying to settle. They get taken away by the U.S. Army cavalry who are trying to keep the last survivor safe. Some of those survivors decide, nope, we're going to go start killing natives. So they start going on their murder rampage campaign. And instead of just trying to find the people who did it, they're just killing any natives they can find.
Ooh.
The absolute barbaric approach that they have is just horrific. And it's examined from within the group and those outside watching them go past. And it's clear that it's like, this isn't what everyone believes. Not everyone is signed on for this sort of approach. In fact, there's a lot of people who are very okay with understanding, no, this isn't our land. This isn't like, this doesn't belong to us. This has belonged to people for thousands of years before we got here. We get incredible performances from Sam Worthington, Michael Rooker, Danny Huston, Luke Wilson, Will Patton, Giovanna Ribisi is a very quick moment, but not in it too much.
Nice.
Owen Kraushu is one of the names. Dale Dickey, I love her, and from My Name Is Earl through Winter's Bone and everything else she's ever done. Tatanka Means, just brutal. I mean, God, there's so many incredible actors. They did a great, beautiful cinematography. It is shot very much like the classic early John Wayne era, very like reminiscent of the Searchers. Yeah, I'm trying to think of, I can't think
Panavision,
of the director's name that was known for these wide vista shots. Haberman was a big fan of his cinematography, and now I can't think of the director's name. And I know we'll get comments for it later, but I'll bear that weight.
It's better to do that than spend 8 minutes. Who was this person?
Yeah.
I've
exactly.
done that before.
It's no, it's a journey though. The movie is 3 hours long. But I gotta be honest,
3 hours.
I didn't really notice. Like it. The only thing that kind of told me it was 3 hours was the walk back to the car, and my lower back was a little achy from those old ass chairs at the DGA. But my God, it is riveting. The score is beautiful. The few actual pieces of music in it are wonderfully done. I love that the script was translated back into the correct native tongue for the individual tribe members that were getting to see on screen. The anytime gunfights are occurring, it's not super over the top. This isn't like crazy Wild West shootout style stuff. This is gritty, real, just blood and bone here. This is survival. This is the birth of this era of the United States, and it's done in an unflinching way. It's not meant to praise any one side or the other. It's not meant to say this is how it's supposed to happen, or this or that deserve this, so much as this is just what happened, and you've got to understand why we got to this point, like why blood was shed and why these things were done. And I think they do a pretty decent job of trying to just show it in the most honest way. The Q&A afterwards, it was really cool to hear from Kevin Costner himself, the devotion he had to the film. And his whole thing was, it's this film, no one should be serving themselves, their own creativity. Everyone needs to give up their vanity and serve the story and the film itself. And I love that that approach, to me, felt like it showed on the screen. Everyone, like every performance was fucking fantastic. I loved Michael Rooker's character. I mean, everyone. I'm not used to. I know, Luke Wilson has done dramatic roles in the past, but to see him having to play the trail boss, and clearly he was appointed this because it's acknowledged in the dialogue. This wasn't the job he necessarily set out to have, but it's the job he has now, and he's going to carry it on his shoulders. God damn. I mean, everyone, like, the performances were wonderful. All the departments just really sent it home. I couldn't believe, like I said, even though it was 3 hours long, I couldn't believe the 3 hours had passed by the time the movie was over. And I'm very curious to see what the next 3 chapters of Horizon are going to be like, as he's adamant there will be 4 films. And right now I know they're touring in the festivals just to get it in for festival season, for award season. It's shown at a couple of the bigger festivals, Horizon Chapter 2. So eventually that'll get to wider release, and I would love to check that one out. But my God, it was a film to behold, that's for sure. I very much enjoyed it. It's definitely not a film for everyone, though. I don't think it drags. It takes thematic moments. It really wants you to digest not just seeing things, but to feel the weight of the moment you're in. And I think there's things that move quickly, that move at a pace that a lot of modern films do, and there are times where it knows to take the time to present something to you. And I really enjoyed it. I am going to give Horizon: An American Saga Chapter 1, because that title couldn't get any longer, 3 slices of toast. It's intense. There's a few moments, there's a few things where you see all these very beautiful cinematic things, and then you get a few shots that are like, okay, I can see where you did a lot of post work to make this sense of this and make these shots work. You clearly didn't want to make horses do these certain things, or you definitely had to take like an airport or something out of the background. But God, yeah, that was a great movie. I enjoyed it very much.
Now, 2 questions for you. One, I've been hearing, of course, mixed things, but I've heard a lot that it plays kind of episodically. Does it feel episodic, or does it actually feel like a feature to you?
It feels like a feature. The end of the film, to me, I thought it rested at a pretty neutral moment, because they didn't leave it on a cliffhanger. And that even Kevin Costner afterwards said he didn't want to leave it on a cliffhanger. But the montage at the end, I thought, was a little weird. I could have done, I think, without the added montage. I don't need a little teaser. It felt like fucking Back to the Future Part 2. When you get to the end and all of a sudden you're seeing all these shots of the Wild West. I'm like, I get it. We're going to get more. You call it Chapter 1. I assume there's a Chapter 2.
Fair
that
enough.
Part took me out, because you're reminding me more of being in the moment of watching a film. Whereas up until then, I enjoyed what was happening. It took me a little bit to understand the jumps, because they only introduced the locations one time. And then it's up to you to recognize those visual cues and which characters were on screen to put you back in. But sometimes you would jump and they wouldn't show you the characters you're used to, or a location you're used to associating with that segment of the story. But it would eventually, it would catch up to that point.
Fair enough. And 2, sounds like you enjoyed it, but do you think it was amplified? Your excitement, your enjoyment was amplified because you were at the DGA and there was Costner doing a Q&A with his HODs? Okay.
No, because there was other elements. Like, he brought up a lot of there's other things. He made jokes about how, it's like when you're going in the middle of a big divorce, you got to keep busy. So I figured I'd make a movie, and he'd make it like there was things about, like, he was making cracks about Yellowstone, Like clearly he's got some. He's he didn't say it, but you could tell he carried that ill will toward Tyler Sheridan, and it's like, all right, whatever. Well, that's you. Sorry, dude, you fucked up that deal. Like no one but you did that. So even if we didn't have that, if Kevin Costner wasn't there, I just liked the movie I was watching. I genuinely enjoyed the experience.
Good. That's good to hear, because sometimes I know things can be amplified, but no, I do know this is your type of movie, so that's good to hear. Up next, I have a movie that's not technically my type of movie, but I've seen all of them. I have Terrifier 3. Have you watched any of these films yet?
What's funny is the other night before we watched Death Becomes Her, my first suggestion was the first Terrifier. Val wanted to watch the trailer, and 10-15 seconds into the trailer, she's like, nope, I'm not watching that. I'm not. It's like, all right.
Now, is that because it's so cheap looking, or just because it's over the top and ridiculous?
His face. She doesn't like scary clown faces. Like his does not like his face. That is, I guarantee that's the reason right there. So.
Fair enough. That makes sense. So essentially, if you're new, if you haven't seen the series like you, Dennis, the first movie is about these two girls on Halloween. They're a little bit drunk. They're walking home. They can't get their car to start. And then they're essentially chased around and tortured and hiding from Art the Clown. And then the next year, the legend of this clown has been kind of known throughout the town. And there's this young girl who's kind of going out to party, but then one thing leads to another, and she has to face off against this clown, and some horrific things happen to her and her brother and her friends, and people die around her. And this movie takes place years after that. I think real time. I think it's been like 3 years, or give or take. And she's just getting out of a kind of mental ward because she was dealing with all the stuff that happened. She literally chopped his head off at the end of the last movie. Jesus. And now she's getting out. Her mother was murdered by him, so she can't go back home. So she's going to stay with her aunt and uncle and their young daughter. And things are going okay right now for them. Except you can tell something's up. She's having premonitions of people who died in the last movie kind of talking to her as ghosts. And she has this like feeling that Art the Clown is somehow still alive. And she wants to find him and just end it and live a happy, normal life. Like her brother was kind of tortured by the clown too, but now he is in college now, and he's kind of let all that stuff go behind him. But she is adamant on the fact that, holy shit, I think he's still out there and I need to stop him. I got to get revenge. And as all that's going on, we find out that this clown Art is still alive. And he kind of had this like demented woman that was kind of possessed working with him by the very end of the movie. Now she's with him, but they've been in this like house kind of mummified. And then once she gets out of rehab, they kind of activate. Makes no fucking sense to me.
Okay.
But they come back to life. And like I said, this guy, he was headless in the last one. Now he's back to having his head. But it's Christmas, so he is on a killing spree. No one's safe. He's not necessarily going after her. He literally goes to a bar. There's a guy dressed as Santa Claus. There's a drunk played perfectly by a fantastic character actor, Mr. Clint Howard. And it's funny because he looks a little chubbier. He's balding a bit. He has a grizzly white beard. It's like he almost looks like a knockoff version of Kyle Gass. It's kind of weird. I'm like, could not stop thinking that this whole time. But it's just like Art is like so mesmerized by Santa Claus. He's excited because he's just this is the thing about him. He is a sadistic piece of shit. He doesn't talk or whatnot, but he has this kind of cartoony way that he moves around. His kind of glances kind of breaks the fourth wall slightly, but not really. Like it's very cartoony. It's very weird. And he's just having a good time. And one thing leads to another. There's some deaths there. He ends up stealing this guy dressed as Santa Claus's clothes, and he goes out dressed as Santa Claus. He goes to a mall dressed as Santa Claus. And the movie starts off with him dressed as Santa Claus slaughtering a family on Christmas Eve. Luckily, we don't see him killing kids, but kids are dead by his hand. And the thing about him, most slashers, they have like rules and whatnot, and he breaks them. In this movie, I'm not going to say where or when. There's a bomb that he sets off. He uses a gun. He uses a chainsaw. He uses rats. The thing is, everyone's saying this movie's more brutal. It's more insane. It's the most messed up of all three of them, and that's saying something because these movies get crazier as they go. But I disagree. I think this movie is on par with these other movies. And the thing about this is it has a DIY feel to them. The first one's super low budget. The next one, a little bit more of a budget. This one, bigger budget. You can tell that there's money going into this, which is fantastic. Visually, it looks cinematic compared to the other one. The story feels more fleshed out than all the other two. And there's some better actors in here. There's some cameos in here that you'll notice. But what it does lack here is the fact that it does have schlocky writing. It has mediocre acting, but it works because you're going to just kind of see something different, something that feels more independent, something, I don't know. If you like these movies, you're going to dig it. But is it the best of them all? I don't know. I have mixed feelings. Like, the worst part about this thing is there's things that happen off screen that we then learn about. And then it's like, oh, well, why didn't we go see that? We should have seen this happen. And then the way it ends, just like you said about, I think it was just a second ago with it kind of feels like that. It's like, it just ends. And it's like, there's no closure for anybody. Stuff. There is one big thing that happens. There's a big, huge fight scene. They do actually set up some ground rules. They give you a little more of the understanding of how Art does what he does. And I do appreciate that. But I don't know. There's just something off about it a little bit. And I can forgive it because it's like, I know what I'm getting into. And overall, it's a fine, mediocre film. I'm not a huge fan. I don't hate it. I don't love it. I'll see the next one, and clearly they're setting up a next one with this. And I feel like that's kind of a cheap move, but I mean, how many horror movies don't go off and make sequels, especially ones that are making this money? This movie made more money than the Joker film made. A week later it came out, and it's killing it in the box office. And they're only playing this like a couple of times. It's not rated, so it's not like kids can go in. The best part is there was an uptick in the Wild Robot ticket sales that week this came out. So clearly kids are buying tickets for the Wild Robot and walking in to watch this. Gotta love it. It's still happening. I'm going to give Terrifier 3 2.5 slices of toast. Okay. It walks a fine line. If you're looking for gore, if you're looking for wild things, if you're looking for a horror movie that's unlike other horror movies, this is for you. Definitely worth seeing if you dig that. All right.
Nice.
Yeah. I have one more movie that just came out, staying in the horror realm, Smile 2. Now, I enjoyed the first Smile. It was fine. It wasn't the best horror movie, but it definitely had its moments. But this movie is 10 times better than that one. This movie is a completely different movie than the other. The other one was kind of a little more contained and tiny. This is a bigger, wider scope of a movie. It picks up literally where the last one left off. And it's bonkers right out the gate. It's like, holy shit, this is insane. And essentially what it is, it's there's a pop star, Sky Riley. She's like this huge, I wouldn't say Taylor Swift size singer, but she's big. And a year ago, she was in a horrific accident. She was on drugs. Her and her celebrity boyfriend were in this accident. He died. She lived. Her leg was fucked up. Her back's fucked up. She had to go through rehab. She was in the midst of a giant world tour. She had to cancel that. And now she's finally feeling up to it. She's going on a new world tour, but nobody will prescribe her anything heavier than like Tylenol. And she has all these like pains still because she was in this accident. And she goes to this guy she went to that she knew in high school who now sells drugs. And he's kind of going through this thing. It's kind of like The Ring. Essentially, someone is kind of possessed by this evil entity, and it feeds on you. It feeds on your fears and everything in your brain. And essentially, it wants to make you kill yourself in front of someone else, and then it passes to that person that sees you kill yourself. And so when she's getting drugs, that happens. He kills himself in front of her, and then she starts hallucinating and seeing stuff. She can't call the cops or anything because there's drugs everywhere. She's a big pop star. Her whole world's going to collide if they find out she was there. So she doesn't tell anybody. And then she gets this like text from an unknown number, and they make themselves clear throughout the movie. They know who she is. They know she was there. And she's seeing things, people with these creepy smiles, these things haunting her. And it's eerie. There's all these jump scares in there, and they're not cheap. But by God, there's a lot of jump scares, and they're actually chilling. And
shit, nice.
It's gory. And I will say this movie's a little longer than it needs to be, but it works. It makes you question what's really happening, what's real, what's reality. Midway through the movie, I'm like, holy shit, if the movie ended like this, it would be so fucked up and so amazing. But they're not going to go with that. And then by the end, they went with it. And I'm like, fuck, that was amazing.
Nice.
What's going to happen with this next fucking movie? I can't wait. But so it's essentially her having to figure out what's going on with her and surviving. And I keep saying her, Sky Riley, and she's played by Naomi Scott. She was one of Charlie's Angels. She's the Pink Ranger in the latest Power Rangers movie.
Yeah.
She's Jasmine in Aladdin. I always love her in her movies. She looks different in this, but she's fantastic. Lucas Gage is the kid that was on drugs. He was great in the few scenes he was in, just chilling. Kyle Gallner was in the first movie. He's in this very briefly. He was also in that movie, Strange Darling, that I loved a few episodes back. Jack Nicholson's son, Ray Nicholson, is the dead celebrity ex-boyfriend or dead boyfriend. And he has moments in this where it's kind of chilling. And there's just a few other familiar faces. But her mom is played by Rosemary DeWitt. And she's kind of like the manager of Sky Riley, in charge of her life and everything. And she's just putting all this pressure on her. Like, there's so many times where she's like, I can't go in the store. I can't do this. I can't do that. And her mom's just pushing her and manipulating her. And everyone just wants so much out of her. And she's coping with the accident that happened. She's trying to stay off drugs and alcohol. And now she's seeing all this shit. And it's funny. Before I went to see this movie, I was talking to Sarah about it. She's never seen the first. She's like, oh yeah, everyone online saying it's like a giant Voss water ad. And I'm like, that's the fucking dumbest thing I've ever heard. People don't know what they're talking about. And I saw this movie and I'm like, holy fuck, they are 100% right. I've never seen product placement this bold since probably Wayne's World. All right. She has Voss water everywhere. There's a point where she's in a hospital bed and they have Voss water just in the hospital brought there. And she is not just drinking it or sipping it. She is full on chugging the fuck out of Voss water throughout this whole movie. And I'm like, why is this happening? And of course, later on, she explains, oh, well, my therapist or whatever says I should do that to kind of cope and not drink or take alcohol and to just kind of show that I'm in charge of my life. And I'm like, that makes no fucking sense, but cool. One vice for the other. But it's like just seeing her. There's scenes where it's like chug, chug, chug. And I'm like, holy, is she going to fucking breathe? Like, this is insane. But
the actress had to actually like drink gallons of water for this movie.
And you can hear chug, chug. Yeah. I'm like, I hope this is CG because I don't know how she's not vomiting all the time. And, then there's like some original music in this movie, and it's like I don't know if it's her or not, but yeah, it's kind of catchy. And you know who's in it very briefly as a chilling like super fan, and then there's a weird naked scene that happens. Homeboy from fucking the last Star Wars show, the bad guy, the hunky dude from The Good Place. He's in it as this like weird creepy guy, and then there's this haunting scene where he's in her apartment, he's naked, he's charging at her, and it's like, what the fuck, dude? This is insane.
Okay.
Oh, man, I had a blast. I went in, like, when I saw the trailer for this, I'm like, oh, this looks kind of cool. But I enjoyed every second of this. I love this so much more than I love Terrifier. I'm giving Smile 2 3.5 slices of toast, man. It's a good time at the movies.
Damn, nice, dude. Yeah. That sounds awesome. Okay.
Yeah,
well, you sold me. And of course, my pen ran out of ink as I'm trying to write down your slice review. There we go. Okay. Got it.
Oh, man. I am super jealous of your next review. You got a movie not coming out until December 6th, dude. I can see it on Halloween at a film festival, but I don't know. I want to hear your review of it, man. I'm so excited.
All right. Yeah, as Adam said, this is the next film starring the wonderful Amy Adams, and I know one of our favorite actors, Scoot McNairy, talking about
Scoot's in
Nightbitch.
this? Oh, he's the
Scoot.
husband, right?
Yep. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Sorry, I talked over the trailer. Right
Oh
there
no, no,
because I'm
no.
just
That
excited
was
for
it's
Scoot, man.
your excitement is exactly where it should be. Yeah, we love Scoot McNairy. So Nightbitch. This is a film about Amy Adams' character that she is a mother. She was an aspiring artist. She was an accomplished artist, excuse me. That after having a child with her husband has started to just like, you're starting to see these like little frayed edges. Like she's doing her duties being a mother. She's being a very attentive to her son, and you're just like through her very like humorous and honest narration, you're hearing these just like, oh my god, I hate going to the toddler baby time at the library. I hate the fucking moms that are at these things. I am not one of these bitches. I fucking hate
Nice.
everything about it's like I love my son, and I'm there for him. I'm supporting my husband who's she's a stay-at-home mom now instead of getting to do the art and everything she used to do. He's often out of town for work, and will like he'll make these comments that just, I'm not a mother, I'm not a woman, I don't, obviously I do not understand a lot of these things to the core that
Wait. Dennis,
what
you're not
my
you're not
okay
a mother?
yes no
Are you sure
surprisingly
about
no.
that?
Yes, I'm
Damn.
quite sure.
I thought Emmy came out of your. I'm not gonna. All right, whatever. Cool.
Okay, so
Sorry.
we get so there's we get these moments where Scoot McNairy saying shit to her. It's like, man, if we could just trade places, I would do that for you, babe. Oh man, like
No, what a
I know
lying
it's like
shit.
it's the worst having to be away from home. I wish I could be with you every day. And it's like, but then when he's home, he's not. He clearly can't carry the same weight she has to fucking carry every single day. And you're starting to see just again like the threads just starting to fray a tiny bit, but not in the ways you think. You start to see these things on camera that are very like, is that real? Are these she's having these moments of like she's at the park with her son, and there are these three dogs just run up and just start like loving on him. And it's like, oh, like, are these your dogs? No, those aren't our dogs. And the dogs just take off. And there's no one else in the park like tending to these dogs. And she's like, you know what? Let's chase after him. And she takes her son, and they're running
Why
after.
not?
And you're seeing, and it's like they're seeing this kind of moment that's like she's smiling and she's embracing this thing, and it's we're going back through the cycle again, and she starts to just let it show a little more, like it's almost like a flower blossoming in reverse. It's this, she's like, what's fucking hard about being a mom is doing this shit. And like she's just telling the other moms that, and she's like, I fucking hate this. There's she starts identifying with just being more bestial, and then shit starts happening to her. It goes from like, oh, here's some gray hairs, or oh, I've got this like I'm getting weird whiskers on my face, to I've got this like I have this sore on my back. Like it's like it looks like a wound, and you get this nasty scene of her taking a needle. Spoiler alert: she takes this needle and heats it to get it clean, and she stabs open this like lump in her back, and she just starts digging around inside of this pussy, disgusting fucking thing, and she pulls out this long hair. That's like, it's like, is that a fucking?
Is it like a tail?
Yeah, like it's exactly where it should be for that.
Is it even more brutal than the scene in Black Swan where she's pulling out the fucking feathers?
It's like that. It's very much, it's that just skin crawly, like it unflinching. The camera doesn't look away as it's forcing you to look at this moment. And she starts to identify with these dogs until you have this scene where she runs out to her front yard and she turns into a dog. And you really start questioning, like, is she turning into a dog, or is this
Uh-oh. I don't know if it's my connection or Dennis's, but this has not happened in a while. Hopefully, if you're watching the live stream, it's on my end and not his. This is kind of weird, man. This has not happened in countless episodes. But at least look. Oh, hey, sorry,
Okay.
I lost you, man. Oof.
Yeah,
I wasn't sure if it was me or you.
No, both of us. We
Probably.
both. It looks
Okay.
like we both cut out from at least from my end. All right. I didn't advance my review anymore.
Okay, I was just like talking like I don't know what's up, but yeah,
I was too.
Sorry.
Okay. Yes. So we see her turn into a dog, and from that point out, it's like, fuck, is this really happening, or are these all moments? It's because her sleep deprivation, all of these things that have got her to this point, is it fueling like what's going on in her mind, how she used to see the world? There's a librarian who suggests she checks out this book that it's about the relationship between women, magical elements, and animals, and how there are these various cultures of, there's like the bird women of the Amazon, and she's reading these things of like trying to understand, is this actually happening to me? Is this real, or is this like psychosis? And she's accepted, no, this is fucking legit. Like, this is what's happening. And at one point, and I want to give a little warning, and it's a little bit of a spoiler, but for those who are very sensitive about animals and things, there's a house pet that gets killed on camera that is, it's
Yikes.
very visceral. And again, you're wondering, like, is this fucking real or not? And it turns out it is. This happened. And she gets, and there's the ladies she used to resent at the toddler library time are now like her best friends, and she has them over for a glass of wine, and they're trying to, like, she's just can't stand the shit that they're talking about, like the normal everyday stuff. She's finally breaks down. It's just like, I killed the cat. And they all look at her, and she's like, no, I killed the fish. Oh, well, I might have let the parrot fly away. And it's not these deliberate actions, but you're finding out, it's like, it's more about, it's okay to fuck up. Like, it's whether or not that's actually what happened is unclear. And that's what's kind of is so intriguing about the story. It is such an intense ode to the gravity and intensity of what it takes to, like, raise a child, which is its own feat on its in itself. And then to frame it in her perspective, it's so intense, and it's like such a visceral experience. The performances are great. Amy Adams absolutely crushes it, as one would expect from her. Scoot McNairy, of course, he does an incredible job delivering. The kid, the toddler, like I think he's only like 2, maybe 3. He's fantastic. The direction of the child, honestly, is I'm very intrigued by, because they get so many specific moments with him. It's either that, or it's only loosely directed so that the rest of the cast needs to respond to what he's doing. Either way, extremely well done. This is a very well directed movie. It is out there though, man. It is intense. I think it's funny because I didn't realize it was classified as like a horror comedy. In fact, I didn't know anything going into this. I just I saw who was in it. I saw the name. I'm like, all right, let's just see what happens. And holy shit, was I not ready for what was happening on screen. But God, it was fascinating. I thoroughly enjoyed watching this. But it's definitely, it's an experience. This is one where it's very much about being in that place. And I know you're making the joke earlier, but it was, I can't imagine having to do this. So to frame it in this light, I think almost makes me understand some of these elements better. Like the life-changing events that would be raising another human being framed in this way was it's so fascinating. It has to be very cathartic for those who could relate to this, like what she's going through. And I like the juxtaposition of her former life to the life she's leading now, and where she turns it. And I was hoping it wasn't going to be a dark, dank ending, and in some ways it is, but in other ways it's beautiful. And I like the journey that she goes on, and I was glad to be a part of the experience. Nightbitch, I'm going to give it 3 slices of toast. It is an abstract piece of art in the best possible way, and I think everyone just does their job beautifully. it's not a movie. I'll be honest, it's not a movie I'm going to go watch again and again. But it's one of those. It was so striking. I'm like, I'm glad I experienced that, and I got to see a story told in this way. It framed a lot of life events in a way that, like, holy shit, there's the gravity, there's the intensity, without just saying this, and this happens, but framing it with turning into a dog and her relationship with, she starts forming bonds with the other dogs in the neighborhood, and she doesn't know, like, are these other people or not? I don't know. That honestly never gets answered. But there's a lot of other questions.
I like that open-endedness.
Yes, and it's this almost sort of art house touches, I guess, in the best way, combining it with this narrative story. I had a fun time watching it. It was one that, like, as soon as we walked out of the theater, Val and I couldn't stop talking about it until, like, even after we got home from the drive from Burbank to here. It never stopped. Like, the conversation never stopped, and that's I miss kind of having that sort of reaction to things, and I think this did that very well.
Oh man, I really like this this director. She did The Diary of a Teenage Girl, Can You Forgive Me? That fantastic Mr. Rogers movie, A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood. And I don't know why. My favorite part about knowing who she is, she's the wife of Yorma from Lonely Island. And I'm like,
oh shit,
man,
okay,
fantastic.
oh damn, wow.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny, that kind of makes sense though. Like, I totally see that very, like, this is the fucking artistic style I'm going to use, and that it shows. Excuse me, it shows in this movie.
And then fucking, she's a fantastic actress. It's like, when doesn't she kill it? This actress?
Oh right,
like, come on.
Yeah, Amy Adams is fantastic. When it was funny because, like, it was just, I think it was early in the day, even had that episode of The Office on, the booze cruise. When Jim dumps her, because I forget she was on The Office for.
I always forget she's on that. Yeah. Hey, you know what? I always forget that she's in until I see it, and I'm like, holy shit! Is that fucking? She is in The Pick of Destiny. Like, when they're singing Master Exploder, she's one of the girls that's having, like, an orgasm at the table.
Oh shit! Oh,
that's funny. Like, it was just right before she hit.
I forgot about that.
And then I always go back to thinking of her in that Muppet movie with Jason Segel singing by herself at the fucking diner. It's like, and then Arrival. Arrival's fantastic. Oh man, so many good movies.
I like Arrival a lot. Yeah, that's a solid one.
It's fantastic. Like, everything you said about this movie is the vibe that I got from the trailer, and I'm happy that it wasn't just like, here's a wacky trailer for a movie that's boring as shit.
No, it's like, that's the thing. It operates in a certain amount of subtlety too, because there's very limited locations. There are a few, like, we leave a lot of the main spots, but, like, we're at their house for most of the film. And I love the set design is very subtle, but it is so detailed and realistic, and it makes sense for someone who's had this art background. And you had, like, it looks like, you know, it's one of those. I know it sounds fucking obvious, but it looks like this character decorated this house. It's not like someone else came in and tried to make it look like an artist decorated it. No, it looks like this particular taste. It's this voice spoke,
and that's what I love about this director Mariel. All her movies have that lived-in vibe, and it just feels like it's like regular life. You're just in there with people living their normal everyday routine, and I feel like, why can't more filmmakers make things feel that realistic?
Yeah, things should be.
Do we need that in every movie? I don't know, but it's nice when you get that breath of fresh air. For sure.
I think you're gonna like this one, dude.
Question is, do I go see it on Halloween, or do I wait till December?
I mean, to be honest, it really doesn't strike me as a Halloween movie. I think classifying it as a horror is a little bit of a misnomer.
Oh no. It's. I'm not saying because it's Halloween. It's that film festival, but
that's when you can see it. Yeah, like that's.
It's like, I can see it a month early, but it's like, I think it's like $18 a ticket or some shit. Or wait, I can wait.
There's some other flicks in there. That could be.
Yeah. Oh, but no, thank you. That's gonna wrap us up, I think, for the reviews, man.
Alrighty,
man, I'm excited. 200 episodes, some good reviews in the mix.
Yeah, and some, like, positive ones, like things we enjoy really digging into. So
a lot of threes, man. Good. We never have that many threes in an episode.
I'd say when the lowest is 2.5, and even then, and both the 2.5s were like, it wasn't, we didn't hate it. It's just. It's what it is.
Yeah.
That's the best. That's the best kind of movie to get behind too. I think.
Mm,
Just having a good time. I think every one of
yeah.
these you can have a good time watching.
Fuck yeah.
So
Yeah, we got a little bit of something for everyone, I think, in this episode for the most part.
yeah, yeah.
Thank you all for watching, for listening. If you're watching us, please listen to us. We're available wherever you get your podcasts. And if you're listening to us and you want to watch us visually, we got stuff going on all around us. We're over on YouTube. Check us out at movie_toast. We're everywhere, baby. That
That's
wasn't a plug
right.
this is just a plug for us.
And
Woo.
say you want to watch a little something extra, a little something that we like to do every year. We got a little thing called Movie Toast the Festival that's coming this December.
Right.
We've already we've made our selections and
Just mailed them out yesterday.
Do we have a fucking awesome lineup, man? I know it sounds cliche to like hype it up again every year because of course we're going to be excited. But like seriously, it was amazing how we had to try to reduce it down because there were so many good things. And I know you were anxious about not getting enough stuff for the show,
Dude,
but
I say it every year. I go in, I'm like, I don't know if we got enough to show, man. And there's a lot of good stuff, but I'm like, how are we going to structure this? I don't know. And it's crazy. Like we had 4-tier color system that we were doing, and we sunk up on so many things. And like we're like, let's just look at this one color that's our best of the best. Already like 2 hours worth of stuff. We're like, oh shit, all the other stuff that we dig, it's like we can't put on an 8-hour show. It was a tough call to say, hey, sorry, this year this isn't gonna pass, but I'm happy. We got some top-notch shit.
Absolutely
Everything.
Yeah, there's from many different genres all across the board. This was definitely just a hell of a time. I loved digging through each and every one of these, and it, like Adam was saying, there was so many that it was difficult to like decide where it landed. Like when it came down to measuring them side by side, that I like the challenge. I like that it was tough because that just means there were so many good things to offer, and we're gonna have a great show for you come December. Many talented filmmakers. There was where we had people return to submit stuff. We had so many new filmmakers, people up and coming who were taking some of their first shots, and god damn did they have something great to show.
We got some talented folks out there. And like every year, I don't know how it happens if people just see the name of the festival because it's called Movie Toast the Festival. Not one, but 2 films sent to us involving toast. And it's like,
yes.
Well, that's almost a slam dunk, but it's not. We're not just going to take anything, but every year there's something involving toast that's actually high quality, and it's crazy.
Yes.
And unfortunately, one of them we did not accept. It was called toast. It was on the very short list of things that we were taking, but ultimately there were some other things above it. There is one really good, fun horror, not even comedy, a horror thing involving toast that we both really enjoy.
Oh my God.
Man. There's animation, there's musical things, there's long form, short form, and by long and short, I'm going anywhere from 2 minutes to 15 minutes. Not super long, but
that's what was incredible too. Is there was things that were like right up to the limit of our cutoff, and there was things that were just like knew exactly when to tell the story, when to cut it off. This is all we need to show you, and it's a complete story, beginning, middle, and end, and that. They made it a challenge deciding what made it. So as you can see, as excited as Adam and I are just to tell you about the quality of what
even more excited to have you come check it out. I know you're thinking, holy shit, dude, a festival? I don't have money to waste on that. It's December, that's the holidays. I can't travel, I can't pay. Don't worry, it's free, it's online. There's a lot of things happening. It's not just form. There's going to be like little skits and sketches from us, which I know. Why the fuck would we do it? Because we want to show our artistic side too.
We're making it. Yeah, we like to have a fun time watching flicks together. So we're
and we have an open chat talking with people watching it.
Yes,
and best part, once again, we have stuff from all around the world, man. Things aren't even in English, but it's that fucking good, man. Yeah.
So really can't wait. Please come and join us, and then you get to see who wins the Golden Toaster Award this year.
Yeah, that's a goodie. But all right, that's a ways away. What could you do now? You're probably wondering. No, you're not, but we'll say you are. We'd like to make the show even toastier, even more golden crisp, buttery.
Yeah.
But we don't know what works and what doesn't work for you folks. But we can, if you head over to Apple Podcasts or wherever you're watching or listening, let us know what you like, what you dislike, and we'll try to make the show a little bit more tighter or a little more funner, a little more broader, a little more zoomed in. I don't know. We've gotten rid of my favorite segment, which happened to have been trivia, but people are like, fuck trivia. And I'm like, fuck trivia. Bye-bye. See you next time. But that's only because we got input and we need that from y'all.
That's right.
Yeah. But we also need you guys to check us out over on the socials, huh?
That you do. Please add all the major platforms at movie_toast. As we've said before, there's a lot of great stuff that Adam puts out. A lot more reviews too. There's a lot more movies than we even watch here, and a lot more coverage. Try to do some gaming. I'm trying to get the video to look better for you guys. I'm sorry. I'm going to try to get that better. But until then, we really know you're here for the toast, and we're going to keep delivering to you as much as we can.
That's right. Like Dennis said, all the platforms at movie_toast. You can find us there or just search Movie Toast News and Reviews. You'll find us. But you don't want to do any of that shit, Dennis. What the fuck can these cats do besides listen to our show, man?
You know, you could always stay toasty.
I'm the Dennis, they're the kings of the real. Reviewing new movies, they keep it real. Coast to coast, from LA to the east. On the podcast show, they feast on the beast. Adam's bringing knowledge like he's Professor X. Dennis with cuts deeper than Wolverine's claws. I guess Marvel, DC, they know them all by heart. Breaking down the plot, tearing every scene apart. They got the juice like Tarantino's Pulp Fiction. Breaking down movies with a sharp precision. Adam coming in hot like a John Wick hit. Dennis bringing the heat like the climax of a Tarzan flick.
Woo! Oh boy, that was a long episode, but 200th episode, it should be a little longer.
Yeah, it should be juicy. With the butter dripping down your hand on that toast.
Yeah, get that Frank Reynolds style. Yeah. Oh man.
No sausages in the pocket, just drip down your fingers.
Oh, dude, what an episode. Oh man, I got nothing to talk about here. I mean, I could talk about the game really quick, but
well, what you got?
Do that. I want you to do that fucking Dracula voice the whole episode. That was good shit right there, man.
I want to count to 10.
Oh man.
If only I'm sorry we didn't there's another vampire-like character that should have visited, but as soon as we can schedule him to come back around. I didn't think about that. Till we're prepared for him to drop by the studio.
Speaking of let's break it. Let's talk about our very old friend, Mr. Christopher Walken. A couple of weeks ago, we were talking about a movie, and we're like, I've never seen this movie. I've never seen that. And whatever that movie was, I went and looked it up. I'm like, oh man, Walken's in that. And we didn't support our pal. Fuck
Damn it. He's gonna be disappointed. I'm sure he was let down when he was watching us live and we didn't mention that particular clip,
right?
That note there. Damn it.
Yeah. He's too busy bringing his Taylor Swift movie to festivals around. He's doing promotion for Walking in the Park. He's forgotten about Taylor us. He hasn't been here forever. He's watching all those Blu-rays he brought from us last December. God, is that the last time we talked to Chris? No, he was here.
No, we had one. I think there was one more, but we got to give. Yeah, we'll definitely have to get.
Got to get him on the horn.
Prepared with a. I'll prepared with elements to make that really come to life.
Oh boy.
Oh man.
All right.
Thanks for joining us, folks. Yeah. That was a fun one. I hope you enjoyed this 200th as much as we did. That was a lot of fun to record for you guys to live.
Nothing special, but it was special to us.
But a whole lot of toast. That's what you're here for. That's what we're about.
Right on. Happy Halloween, everybody.
Happy Halloween. Whoa.